Okay, we're talking about the elements of web design in this particular lecture. So, elements of web design, one of the main features is color. Color has the ability to guide, direct, and persuade a user. If we go with the color psychology, there's a lot of colors that actually communicate a feeling or a um, mostly just a feeling. So it's like if you were to think of like blues and greens, you often think more cool, which often relate to more natural type of things. So we gravitate towards that. There's a psychological effect with oranges. So there's no doubt that there's research that shows that red and yellow, when combined together, make orange, and orange has been known to actually make a person feel hungry. And so that is the reason why McDonald's has red and yellow as part of their logo. But color is an essential part of it. It gives some kind of energy. It gives them some kind of feeling per a site, somewhat. So color plays a particular or important role when it comes to website design. Texture can add a lot more of a tactile experience and helps connect the user to the content of the page. So if you have a certain texture that is used, maybe it's a background element, or maybe it's a picture, or even some text actually makes some kind of texture of some kind. So in this case, you got the background that's creating this kind of like bluish, crumpled up paper type of look. Or here, more or less, kind of like creating these like different types of textures into the background. But of course, they're not distracting, and that's the important thing. All right, imagery and iconography. Using images and icons can help can mean replacing wordy descriptions with a single image, making a layout easier for a user to quickly get information from. So, like, information kind of gives a more more worthwhile experience for your user. All right. Also, can communicate a certain message to somebody who's seen the site in a certain way. If you didn't have any imagery on there, the image or the website would be a little bit more boring, per se. So, like here again, you see some of the icons that are being used in it, as well as some of the imagery. Another example, again, imagery is being used. It gives more of an interesting type of feeling of, and leads the eye to certain areas. Scale can have a certain element to web design, and scale can reverse or be centered around contrast. Contrast of size or scale is one way designers can add a sense of drama to a design. So if there's a sense of scale, things that appear large or close up or small or something that kind of like is a little bit more like different than what you normally would see, can add a lot of interest to a site design. Depth and dimensions. Adding depth and dimension to a page gives it an element of realism, and like texture, gets the user a more tactile experience. So in the sense here, you feel like this particular site shows more of a depth, like a cupcake shop or something like that. It gives more depth to it. Another example of depth in a site. Animations can be a focal point of site, but too much can be distracting. Years ago, there was a program called Flash that actually caused a lot of problems when it came to animation, because sites became a little bit way more animated than they should be, and it caused them to download slower. So animations now are like code-based type things that are very subtle. They're not anything that's distracting, whether it's the moving up of a picture or a banner changing slides or anything along those lines. Adds a little bit more interest to the site. Just tiny, subtle animations can kind of add a lot to it. Variability. The ability for a designer to vary elements of a design based on things like sections of a site or specific events randomly, right? Giving some variety. Google for a long time, you'd go to theirs. I don't know if they do this anymore, but they might. But Google for a long time would actually change their imagery of Google, the logo, to match a certain day that it was, or a certain holiday, or a certain month, or something like that, that they gave some kind of interest to that particular page. So, all right, so I'm going to end it right there. So I'll talk to you in the next lecture.